Hi, this is John from Indiana. Welcome to this week's Timeout Tuesday. On this Timeout Tuesday, we're going to go over something I ran across. I was working on my Facebook page, and we were working on this Zenith Model 835. We did a power up on it, and there was a lot of problems with it. So I decided to use that as a teaching moment, and I'm going to teach it on here because sometimes it's hard for me to upload some of this stuff on Facebook because they've got a new rule now where you can't put photos and videos on the same post and everything, which is, to me, I don't understand it. But bottom line is I just told them I would do it on here, and plus it would help you guys learn because you're going to run into these kind of problems. I worked my way through it. It was quite a bit of an experience, and I'm not cutting anything out because I wanted you to see the good things I did, and then I want you to see, a bad decision I made, which at the end of it, though, I was able to figure out what was wrong, and it was because the process I used that helped me to figure that out. And if you follow these steps, you will figure out any kind of power problem. This was a full-blown short at the beginning where you couldn't even turn the radio on. So what do you do when you get like that? Well, I'm going to teach you that today. So how right now, this radio right back here is running. It still has a few little issues, but as far as the power side, we were able to work through that. And I'm going to take you on those videos and we'll show you how we work through that. And that way you can learn. And this process works on most radios. You just have to think your way through it. But I'm going to show you how to do that on these videos. And I hope you learned something today. Thank you. Just a little something I'm running across in this Zenith 835. I kind of had indication that this thing was going to be a dead short on power up. And that's exactly what I'm getting, is a dead short on power up. And, you can't even turn it on to figure out what your problem is. So what you do is there's always that one wire that's coming off of your transformer, and it's coming off of your rectifier area. I'm going to see if I can pull it up for you. Oops, that's out this side. I'm trying to find my... There we are. There's my transformer. Couldn't find it. All right, so when you come off your rectifier, off your filament wire is where your high voltage comes out on the DC side right before we get to this choke right here, okay? And that's this first thing in line is the choke. So how you got to first figure out, is your problem is a dead short in your transformer or in this area right here. So what I did is I disconnected this wire right here. There's just one wire that we got to worry about. I disconnected that, and then I powered up right here. So all I'm powering up is the transformer and the rectifier. All right, so I pulled off my one wire, which is right here. That's the wire that's going out to the radio, to that choke right there. All right, and then I powered it up, and guess what? It works just fine. So we know that our problem is not here. So now we got to get on the other side of this and figure out, is our problem there. So we're going to disconnect this wire right here, which has 3 or 4 things connected to it, and we're going to try to disconnect that, and we'll find out if our problem's inside this choke. Okay, so that's our next step. All right, I disconnected this wire right here, and that's the wire that going out. See if I can point it out here. Of course, I got it upside down. All right, we've already tested to here, we're good. I went on the other side of here, so I disconnected this field coil wire. I also disconnected this wire right here, so the only thing that's connected is electrolytic to ground. And I'm going to run it up here, which I've already done, but I'm just going to show you as I run it up. I'm getting voltage now on here. There's no popping and cracking. I was getting popping and cracking down. Okay, I've disconnected this wire right here that's going out to the field coil, and I'm testing now on the other side of that choke. I've disconnected that wire, and the only thing connected is electrolytic, and so I'm getting ready to run that up and you'll see that here in just a second. Okay, we're going to start bringing the voltage up. I'm not getting that spike in amps like I was. If I look over here, I'm watching my DC, it's coming up. I'm not going to go all the way up because I can burn up my transformer without having that field coil hooked. But I just can come up for a few. You can see there's nothing. Before it was popping and cracking down here and starting to smoke a little bit. And now I'm not getting anything. So that tells me that this right here is good. We're past it now. So next thing we got to get past is the field coil. That's the next step. That's the next step in this process to get past this field coil. To describe what I'm getting ready to do is number 3 right here. This pin right here is our entry into the field coil. Number 4 is our exit back to the radio. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and leave this connected. I'm going to reconnect this wire right here going into the field coil, and that's this black wire. All right, and then we're going to let it run through the field coil, and we're going to test it right here. And also we're going to see if what our voltage does over on DC. We're also going to see if there's any of that popping and cracking that starts down here. If it is, we know we got a problem inside this field coil. All right, we're going to go next here. Okay, so here's this part of the test. I got this connected to my multimeter, and I'm measuring the DC voltage coming out of the field coil. I'm also watching my stuff over here in my light bulbs. Actually, I got my light bulbs out of circuit right now because I know I don't have a direct short. I got just a mild short somewhere, but it's enough to burn a bunch of stuff up. That's probably what burned out the 6 tubes, well, 5 tubes in this thing, and then somebody stole one, so it probably got burned out too. Because there was a 5Z3 was missing too. But you can see everything's coming up nicely. That's kind of what you should see on your amps and your voltage, and you watch my DCs coming up good. So it's telling me that there's nothing wrong through the field coil. All right, now I do have, and a lot of times when you have these problems with power, it's nothing really directly to do with your filaments, like your light bulbs out here and your filaments. But I did disconnect the light bulbs just in case. I took that wire off, and I took the shadow meter wires off, this one and that one, and that way they're not playing in this factor of the main power coming in. And if it's them, if I can get my main power all fixed all the way through, and then I'll reconnect those one at a time and see if that creates any kind of shorts too. Because when I got this radio, this was laying here loose in here. These 2 wires right here for the shadow meter was laying here loose, and I reconnected them. So, there may be a short out there in that shadow meter too, somewhat. So I'll have to work my way out there, but I want to get the main power going through the radio so you have a working radio. You might not have a working shadow meter and lights yet, but you can at least have a working radio. And that's where I'm going. But see how I'm taking it? I'm taking it just one step at a time, working my way through this radio. Now see, we've already worked. We've worked all the way through the transformer, through the rectifier. We worked through this choke right here, and we worked through this side of the field coil. We're right here right now, so everything's working good from here down. So all the main power that's coming out here is working. Now it gets a little more complicated because we got a bunch of wires going to be starting to tap in now. All right, so what we have to do when we get out here is disconnect these one at a time and see if our problem, our problem. Basically, I'm going to reconnect pin 4 here and see if our problem's still there. And if it is, then I know it's going to be off of this line right here. It's got to be off of pin 4 line. So anything that's connected to that pin 4 line, I'm going to take loose one wire at a time and see where, that way I know which path to go down. Hope I'm making sense. So this one line right here is our problem somewhere. If it still does it. It might just been because something was messed up in these plugs or whatever like that. So let's just see if it still does it. And if it does it, then we're going to keep tracing. All right, I'm not going to show you because it creates a little bit of popping and smoke. But yes, when I reconnected pin 4 we've got an issue. So pin 4 comes back in, and the sad part is it comes back into that big network of wires right there. There's all kind of resistors and wires. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming off of there. So what we're going to have to do is take those one at a time, and we're going to have to disconnect that. So basically what I'm going to do is disconnect everything on there and just leave them all hanging, and I'm going to clip one back in at a time and see if our problem goes away or stays or whatever. And we're gonna basically unhook one thing. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, at least 4 things I can see that's gonna have to come off of there. One of these circuits, either the one going out this way, the one going that way, the one going that 100K back there, or the one going back that way. One of them 4 circuits, or it could be the CAN dome itself. Maybe there's a short in the CAN dome and I bypassed it, but maybe I need to bring this resistor off of that end and just totally skip this. Maybe this got a dead short in it. So we're gonna figure that out. Okay, we figured out now. I disconnected everything that was on that terminal right there. Get this white wire out of the way. But I disconnected everything on that terminal, and I put back one at a time until I got my indication that I was getting the bad indication, that's sparking and stuff down at the bottom. And I found out that it was this little in my picture, this little red wire right here, and that little red wire goes right down here to that terminal right there. Well, the only thing connected to that terminal is this other little red wire that's going right up here to this terminal strip right here. So what we're going to do is, we know one of these three connections, this one, that one, well, these are going 2 different places. So this one, that one, or that one is our problem. So right now I'm just going to disconnect here. I'm going to reconnect back up here, so that one's already back in place, and then we're going to figure out from here the next test. All right, so I reconnected all that. That's all back in place up there now, and now I've connected onto the red wire here just to make sure there's no short in the wiring going up to that. And that way I know to start tracing those wires if this goes up good. So next thing we're going to do is roll this thing up again and see if I get my sparking and stuff that we're getting. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to, because that wire looks like it's pretty good shape. Yeah, I'm getting all the way up there in our wait a minute. Oh. Well, that's not good. Okay, in our test, I've rolled this up and we're connected to this wire here now, the one right below that terminal strip, and I didn't roll it all the way up, but our DC's coming up fine. There's no popping and cracking, so we know we're good to that point. All right, I'm testing this little terminal strip right there, and it has 3 wires attached, counting the one that's got the little red loop around. So I disconnected that wire, I disconnected the other one. I already tested the first one, it's fine. So I'm getting ready to test this red and white striped wire right here. I just reconnected them. I'll fire it up, and I'm gonna be almost positive that this is our wire because it goes back down to where we're hearing the popping and cracking. So we're gonna try it out here, but we're gonna see, and I'm gonna pay attention down low. And I'm correct. That's the wire that's giving us the problem, this one right here. All right, so I'm going to reconnect this one up here, and I'm going to go down there and trace this wire now. All right, I followed this wire on down now. I resoldered all this back on. I followed that red and white striped wire down, and it went down here right to where I'm connected on at. Well, there's just one wire connected on there, and that goes down underneath here, and it's this little red wire going up to the switch right here. So what I did is basically, instead of disconnecting here at the switch, I disconnected up here where it meets, and I'm going to see if I got good voltage there, and if I do, then we know it's in this red wire here going into this switch, and that means there's some problem in this switch, would make a lot of sense because this is where the mice house was. And if they chewed through something or did it, and now it's really pointing to suspect that the popping and cracking I'm hearing is inside this can. I'll probably take this can off and rewire the whole thing. But I'm gonna wait and see what's going on. But you can see how we're working our way through the radio now. I've not been showing you on the schematic because it goes too many different places. But bottom line is you can kind of see where I'm finding my bad circuit, and then I trail down that circuit and I disconnect as I go and then turn it on. And as long as it's working when I got it disconnected, and then it starts messing up when I got it reconnected, I know it's that circuit. So that's what I'm getting ready to do right here. Well, definitely have isolated our problem to this box. It's not in the switch assembly, thank God, because that'd been a nightmare. I'd have to take that all out and get all them wafers apart, and that would have been a nightmare to try to get into there and fix that. Wasn't there. It was this wire right here that hooked onto the red wire. And what it was, when I got this radio, it was a huge mouse house, went about halfway across here, and they had chewed through all the wires up in this area here. I'd replaced a lot of these, but I just tried to sheathe these, and I'm wondering if they chewed something. Well, they had this all chewed up, but maybe it pulled something down inside where it shorted against something. So I'm going to take this whole can off, and we're going to look at it. I'm going to put all new wires coming out of there, and that'll solve that problem if it is that problem. All right, I got this thing out of the can. Make sure you mark it really good. I marked my power in my 1, 2, 3 because it's going to the terminal strip back here, 1, 2, and 3. And I also marked where it came out of the can. And I also have it written down as far as the colors on the wires. So I have that over here on the side too, to make sure I put the wires back through the holes in the right place. And if I get one in right, I'm going to get the other ones in right. So I marked where my power is coming out, and that's my bright red wire. Right now I just 10 wire, and I'm getting ready to start replacing all these wires, and then we're going to try to see if I get it. Also, right now I'm checking continuity on this coil. Might as well while I got it out of there. So I'm checking across these terminals. I'm checking this big coil right now, and it shows a 91.3, so I know it's not shorted out. So our first coil's checked out, and I'm pretty sure that what was happening is the wire was shorting right here at the top of the can, where those mice had chewed through there. But I'm just going to go ahead and put all new wires while I got it out of here. All right, I'm using my new holder that I got and from one of my viewers, and I'm putting all new wires on this little coil. Okay, I got all the wires redone in this little coil right here, and I got this all reinstalled back into the cabinet. I'm getting ready to try another power up and see if that solved our problem. Well, I would like to have said that fixed the problem, but it did not. And now I think whatever's going on might be intermittent. It did solve the popping and cracking, so there was a short in here. But that wasn't my problem because my amps, when I power up there, my amps keep going over the top, and which means I'm still getting. But what's confusing me is I was all the way to right there. And I may be just tracing two different problems. The first one being the popping and cracking, and that's what brought me down to this thing. And now I still have amps going out crazy, so I'm going to have to back up on the chain a little bit and get back to where I had my amps going right, because I wasn't really paying attention to that part when I was chasing the others popping and cracking. So I'm about at the end today, mentally and physically. I really thought it was that thing that needed to be fixed, but I'm finding out it was not that. That was one problem because it was shortening there, and that's what I was getting the popping and cracking for. That's gone, but I'm still having it overheat. I'll show you. Now I've got this whole thing disconnected. It's not even connected on. We're just actually. We're just to that red wire where it connects onto that switch. And you know what? I could try to disconnect that red wire from the switch, though. Let me just do that. I had forgotten that I reconnected that red wire back up here, so that could be still the problem right in here. So I'm going to power this up now and see what happens. If these amps go up to like 70 or 80, you know, like when I'm only on 80 volts, we still got a problem. So I'm going to try to go on up, and you'll hear the speaker. That means our amplifier section's working good, but we shouldn't, you know, should stay at about 50 or 60, somewhere in there. And now it's kind of pointing more toward that big switch assembly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up to voltage and see where we sit. We should definitely be under 1 amp, and actually that's still too high. But let's see what happens when I connect that red wire back to that switch. It is a lot better than it was, because it was going to about 120 on the amps, 120 milliamp. I mean 1.2 amps. I'll get it out here in a minute. All right, I'm just going to tap this because I don't want to, and I'm going to tap that switch where that thing connects on, and we're going to see what happens. Watch the bottom, the green one. Yeah, it's got some stuff going on in there. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I'll touch it again one more. See the fire? And it's shooting the amps up crazy. Yeah, I can't keep it on there long enough to show you. But yeah, we got a problem in our switch. The other thing about this switch is I had to unfreeze it. It was totally rusted shut. I had to put a bunch of stuff in there to get that opened up where I could turn it. It wouldn't even turn. So that's depressing, is what it is. Because what that means, I would have to take this switch assembly out, and I don't know if you can see all the 300 wires on it, but one of those wires is shorted out, and it's probably something they got up in there and chewed on, and I just can't see it from where I'm sitting. This is depressing. I sure thought it was this. I mean, that was part of the problem, but there's more. All right, thank you. Okay, what I'm doing now is I went on beyond this thing here, since it's not that thing, and the next thing it connects to is this trimmer. And I took it off the wall up there, and on the underside it was pretty nasty, and I'm hoping maybe some mouse pee had shorted these trimmers together. So I cleaned that all, and I'm trying it one at a time back, hooking up, see if I get the same indication. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, this is a wrap-up video of the troubleshooting that we had on this Zenith Model 835. I'm doing this on the Timeout Tuesday because it was just to show you some of the things you can get into and how to troubleshoot your way through them. What we had determined when I powered it on, we had so much amperage, it was almost like a dead short. I couldn't even leave the power running. And so I had to start troubleshooting on the power supply. You're going to have a lot of times when you turn your power supply on and the radio is going to show you a dead short or something close to that. And if you leave it on, it's going to burn something up. And yes, I had a little bit of smoke coming. I heard some popping and cracking. So I shut it down real quick and I started my troubleshooting. And then, as you can see through the videos today, we went through all the phases of the troubleshooting. We started by just disconnecting stuff, starting at the transformer and working our way through the radio. And we worked our way down to this little guy right here. I ended up taking him out, rebuilding him. And just so the last little video probably wasn't too clear, because I still wasn't quite clear what happened. But I got kind of stumped because I had this disconnected and I was still getting my dead short. But what I'd forgotten about is I still had the 3 wires coming out of this connected to this little trimmer cap right here. And the back side of that trimmer cap, as you can see, has wires that go back right into the same switch. Well, I had to hook this wire back up thinking I was good until that point. And had this not been connected. Had I not had these 3 wires coming off of this little thing here connected to this trimmer, but what it did is it reconnected itself right back to here, so that my dead short was in this trimmer. And we determined, and I'm going to do a video on what happened here on next Timeout Tuesday video. But this Timeout Tuesday, I was just showing you how to troubleshoot to the problem. But we determined in that, and I think I said it, if not, I'm going to say it right now, because it's been a few days since I did that last little video. But we determined that there was a dead short between one of these 2 trimmers, between here or here. And I couldn't quite make out where, because I can't see down in there very good. But what happens is it gets carbon tracking across here. And I'll explain carbon tracking on the next video so you can understand what happened there. And so I got that all fixed and cleaned up, and now I'm getting ready to reinstall this. So I'm not going to do that on this video. This is on the Facebook page that I'm running this on. But I just wanted to share this part with you so you can learn how to troubleshoot your way to the problem. My problem wasn't here. My problem was one step beyond here, the stuff that this stuff connected to, and that was in this little thing right here. And so once I got that cleaned up, things started coming back into line. I'm running a little bit heavier than I wanted to, and I'm still trying to trace a little bit, but it's still plenty good enough for me to power up. And now I can try to get a signal through this radio, and I'm running 900 milliamps on it. So, and that's pretty close probably, because this thing has 342 tubes plus a 5Z3, so that's a pretty hefty bite right there on your amps. So we will dig into that, but this radio is, as far as the power supply is concerned, is considered fixed. The only thing that I might do, I might make one step further, and I haven't made up my mind to it yet, is I might add a little power transformer right here on the inside where you first come into the radio from the line cord, and just step down that voltage just a little bit more, just to take a little bit of that heat off the amps. But I will think about that, maybe or maybe not. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's video and see how to troubleshoot a power supply problem. A lot of this is just a step-by-step, and you can see where you can unplug a lot of stuff and radio still halfway work. So it's kind of interesting on that too. All right, thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This video is to me one of the more helpful ones, because this is something that you're going to use. This problem is going to happen a lot to you, and if you learn how to take the steps on how to troubleshoot power problems, it will help you to get through most of those power problems. Now, there's big problems, like if the power issues inside the transformer, you might as well just be hunting for another transformer or another radio. But if it's not the transformer, this process works really well. And I hope you enjoy that. I think I'm going to do on my next Timeout Tuesday, I don't want to give it away, but on my next Timeout Tuesday, I'm probably going to be dealing with what I found in the radio, the end result of what I found, and how that works, and why the problem happened. And I'm going to show you in detail how this stuff happens in the radio, and there's only a couple ways for that to happen, but I don't want to give it away, because I want you to enjoy the first video that I'm getting ready to show you, this video. But the week after this video, I'll show you more in depth on that problem that we had, and the one that I found in this radio. And it was really an odd problem, but it's something that does happen. It's happened to me several times, but it was odd where it happened. All right, so I thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. We are really starting to climb up there, and I gotta keep piling on the people, because it's helping so many people, and I'm getting excited because people are starting to ask the right kind of questions, and or making good comments to help our other viewers. And so either way, it's a win-win for everybody. And I like it that we're building this little community of a bunch of guys who are not critical of each other and who are helping each other instead of being arrogant and you know, that attitude. I don't want that on here. I want that. I don't care how dumb of a question somebody asks. Let's treat it right and let's teach them. And because I've asked so many of them dumb questions, so I want you to help me grow this community. And if you're brand new, I want you to jump in here, and this is a judgment-free zone for all of you. And if you just keep watching, we're going to keep putting all these little tips on the Timeout Tuesday that's going to help you troubleshooting all these radios, because that's where the biggest hang-up that people have is how to troubleshoot, how to solve problems, because you're going to turn these things on, and most of the time you're going to have issues, some kind of issue. I've never really had one that just come right up and worked perfect in the first time, but there's always something little. It might be little, but there's something wrong. So I hope you enjoyed that today. Thank you very much. I just want to close out all my videos with this right here. This is my my motto, and it's going to be our channel motto from now on. It's sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. We don't ever want to lose. We want to learn from every mistake we made. I thank you guys for watching.